Welcome, everybody, to the very first Algorand Hackathon Showcase. I'm very excited to kick this off. We have a nice group of hackathon participants for you to present today. And essentially, what we're going to do today is give these projects an opportunity to present to you what they've built in their hackathon experience. Most of them are going to be have been in a hackathon this year that Algorand has sponsored, but we cast a wide net, and we invited people from years past to come and show us what they've been building ever since their hackathon. And so we have a pretty old project, an older in crypto standards, I guess, project for you to present to see today. But yeah, I'm really excited to show these projects to you. Hopefully it's going to inspire you to join in a hackathon that we have coming up. We got tons of hackathons planned for the new year. And we also want to give an opportunity for people to connect with these teams. If they're building something that you're interested in, we hope that they'll be able to give you some contact information. You can reach out, follow their progress. Maybe you're a developer, product designer, business person, and you want to come alongside them and help them bring this project to the world. That would be an amazing win to come out of this experience. But I don't want to take too much of their time up. I'm going to get right into the flow of things here. And yeah, I'm going to bring up our first team. The team name is Ferris. And the representatives are Obi and Pascal. So I'm going to bring these guys up presently. And I'm going to disappear, and I'm just going to be in the background here. But Obi and Pascal, you can take it away.
Okay. Well, it seems Obi is having some technical issues, so I'll be presenting in his place. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, Pharos is a bridge that connects local money to global blockchain opportunities. I don't know if it's trying to share. So what we do, we enable local residents that have no idea about the blockchain space to connect with us through we simplify the experience for them and make it easy for them to access global blockchain opportunities like tokenized real estate, yield farming, stable assets yields through their local money without we abstract the hassle of understanding and knowing the complexity surrounding blockchain. So far, we've still been building, and can I don't know if we can share his slide. I don't know if he's still in the meeting. So
He is joining back now, and we should see his slides. Awesome. It's classic thing. Every time we get together to share our technology starts to fail us. So let's take it from the top again. And we can see your screen share, Obi, and we can see you
You
now
can hear
back in
me,
the
right?
call. So yes, we can hear
Okay.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go
Okay,
for it.
sorry. I'm very, very sorry. Thank you for having me, and special thanks to the Algorand Foundation for hosting this event. So my name is Obi, and alongside my co-founder Pascal, we are building Ferros, a platform that makes it simple for anyone to invest um, in a global portfolio of tokenized reward assets, our money. Ferros solves the problem of limited access to an alternate investment. So I'll be using Nigeria as a case study. Currently in Nigeria, our currency has limited reach. Like for example, you cannot use your Naira to buy a piece of real estate in, let me say, the Brazilian market or the European market. You're strictly limited to the Nigerian market. Now, not only that, most of the systems that have been put in place to help us as Nigerians use our currency are complex because they are built around the idea of Web3 and they are built for tech savvy people. So now the goal of Ferro solves all these issues by providing a platform that makes it simple and easy for you to invest in a global portfolio of tokenized reward assets from your local money. Behind the scenes, we abstract away all the complex technology, and we just make it as simple as magic. You just deposit your naira, and we handle everything, and you're able to and sell your local, like you're able to buy and sell tokenized reward assets. Now, how it works is Ferrous employs people we call the providers and you the users. As a provider, your job is to offer these investment options. Like, for example, on Algorand, we are currently leveraging Timan and Lofty AI. We use Lofty AI to offer access to tokenized real estate, and we use Tinyman to offer access to other alternate investment options on the Algorand blockchain. And then there are providers, which is you, the user. Sorry, there are users then, which is you. We allow you to in these alternate investment in these investments using your local money with no crypto knowledge. So as a Nigerian, just deposit your naira from your bank account and you're able to buy real estate somewhere in the US or somewhere in Europe with the help of Tinyman. Now, the team behind this is currently, I and Pascal are currently working on this project. And in the past, we've worked on MECO, a similar project, something that allows you to access multiple tokens on multiple blockchains. We've been incubated by the Algorand Foundation, Ripple, and the Algorand Foundation to launch. So our progress so far. So far we've built the and we are currently waiting for permission, the approval from our partners, from our on-ramp and off-ramp partners to provide these services to the platform. But we are still set to launch ending of November this year, hopefully. And that is how far we've gone. Thank you. I don't know.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And I'm going to come back on screen here and we're going to have a little bit of a chat. Great work, guys. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your hackathon experience. You guys were one of the older projects that came into the hackathon showcase. Like, what was the hackathon that you participated in?
We've participated in the Encode Algorand Hackathon, which we took second with our project Mint Engine. And also, I think there was an Algorand Hackathon which participated in recently this year. I think Pascal has more details on that.
Okay, I think that was last year we participated in the Algorand Hackathon. We took a second prize there, and the Encode Hackathon is talking about in question. We got the first place for NFT prize. We built a project called Mint Engine. Mint Engine. The goal of Mint Engine then was to enable users to access Algorand's core features directly from the UI, so they could mint a token, burn a token, all that, the ASA features.
Got you. And now, so for Ferris, you were mentioning that you allow people to bring their fiat currency, their local currency, on chain. How are you managing that that on ramp, as we call it, in the Web3 space? Like, what tools are you leveraging and integrating into your application to make this possible for people?
Okay, well, for the on-ramping and the off-ramping, we use a tool called Busha that is licensed by the Nigerian SEC to be able to operate and buy and sell crypto. So they provide an extended service that allows the products to use their API to onboard customers and buy and sell crypto on their behalf. So in
That
our use case,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
In our use case, we enable users, once users deposit their Naira, we're able to use the Naira they deposit to buy the specific cryptocurrency for them, and they are able to use the cryptocurrency and interact on the blockchain.
Amazing. And did you write any specific smart contracts for this, or like what core fundamentals of the Algorand blockchain have you taken advantage of? Oh, did I drop there? Oh, okay. I think we've lost Obi and Pascal, unfortunately. Okay, so yeah, sadly that the internet failed us in this moment, but we're going to keep things trucking along, and we thank the Ferris team for joining us on the showcase here. Next up, we're going to go to George with his project called MetaCampus. I'm going to bring George up on stage here. There we go. And you can take it away, George.
Thanks so much for that, Joran. It's incredible, how in a tech forum we have tech fail. Can you see my screen okay?
Yep, looking good.
Okay, great. So I'm really, really excited today. Thank you, Joran, and thank you, Algorand, for the space. My name is George, and I'm really happy to be able to present a project to you that's been my baby for the last decade and a half or so. And I'm really honored with the privilege to be able to lead a team of 5 now really, really talented people that were able to put this into the world at the Harvard EZA Hackathon last month. And so I've seen every angle of the problem that we're trying to hack here. And I think the easiest way to describe it is just by saying that the cost of a higher education in the United States is too damn high. So we're going to unpack that, obviously, but you can take that quote to the bank. So first, I'm going to share a brief video asking you to imagine a different future, but that was created by a creative team from Ukraine several years ago. And then I'm going to get into sharing a little bit about what it is that we're actually building, what we want to accomplish, where we're at now, what we're doing next, and then ultimately how you can help. So I hope you like this video.
Oh, sorry, George. We're not hearing the audio from this.
No worries. Let me try to start that again. Let me reshare because I remember that.
Yeah, when you share, you gotta.
There was a little issue there where.
Share system audio.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Okay, hopefully you can hear it this time.
Not coming through again.
Okay, no worries. We can skip that part. I can share a link to the video for anyone that's interested in watching it. So let me just jump into exactly what MetaCampus is and how it fits into higher education technology as a whole. So it really is a solution that lives at the intersection of curriculum management, learning management, and student information management. And so what we've built is a smart contract technology that is an agreement between the institution and the student that validates down to the student learning objectives that are defined within structured sets of curriculum, and ultimately deploying that in a decentralized way to the blockchain. So we're organizing as a nonprofit. We've got some pretty lofty goals. We want to be able to cut the cost of higher education in half. That's a lofty one. We know today that we're able to, with this tech, to bring the cost of college transfer down to zero and validate skills that the marketplace pays for immediately. Another lofty goal of ours is to be able to impact 1 billion learners worldwide by 2030. Obviously, that's something that we need your help with. And so these are some screenshots of what we had created in the hackathon program last month. And so essentially what the system is, and I can go into more of a live demo here, is a platform where you're able to connect your wallet. Give me just a second to do that. And then as a student, you're able to request validations of your learning records from the institution down to the course level. So here I'm going to make a badge request for Calculus 1 and submit the request. For some reason this has failed. This is on our dev server. And then ultimately the institution will receive a queue of these badge requests and then be able to approve them. And that's when the smart contract ultimately goes on to, right now, the test net. So that's kind of where we're at now, or where we were at the end of the hackathon. We have a roadmap, and we've kind of taken some steps to get further along in that. As you can see, we've got a hosted environment now on our actual demo site. We've created a Google authentication piece. So we're moving towards, creating more stringent role-based access control, writing a database, and then ultimately exposing an API to play nicely with partners within the higher education ecosystem, to be able to get access to the actual curricular information that is part of the construction for these badges. So if you'd like to get in touch, it's really easy. You can just go to our website at metacampus.org. You can fill out the contact form or just shoot us an email at info@metacampus.org. Also, if you'd like to get involved, feel free to check out our GitHub. Thanks so much. Hopefully that was, within 5 minutes of time.
Perfect. Yes. Yeah. Great work. Thank you very, very much, George, for that presentation. Yeah, I wanted to ask you a couple questions about this. So I've heard of these types of projects before that will tokenize a diploma or a credential coming from a university, but it's kind of like a complete thing, like I have this XYZ degree, like a social sciences degree or something like that. What I hadn't seen before is the approach that you're taking to this problem, and you're really breaking it down into the individual skills on the class level, and I think even below that on like the objective learnings that come out of these classes. And I think that's very interesting because when you get into the job market, the job really cares about the skills. So can you give us like some insight from your personal experience, like what insight you have in this industry specifically that led you to building this project?
Well, it's a long and arduous story, but my experience with college transfer as an undergrad back in the early 2000s was a nightmare. And so when I came out of undergrad, and trying to figure out ways to address the cost of higher education, the number one driver to it is the cost of administration. Over the last six decades, and so it's been a journey, and I don't know whether I'm answering your question or not, but the primary driving force in looking at these student learning objectives is ultimately in trying to find a way to bring value back to the college degree, which is ultimately just a piece of paper. But what people want to know in the job market is what you're actually capable of doing, and on the job, and what people pay for. And so that's what this project is focused on. And so we believe that there's a ton of applications for it, in being able to leverage that rich smart contract data for students as they approach the job market for the first time after finishing their degrees.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I think you're a recruiter, so you are particularly positioned in between these students coming out of these institutions and people hiring. So your expertise in knowing what these folks are looking for, and the skills that these students bring out of their education seems to be you seem to be well positioned to kind of build this and bridge that gap. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your project. And yeah, I hope that some folks come alongside you and want to help you build this out.
Thanks so much, Jordan.
Take care, George. Okay, we are moving things right along. And next up, we have one of the more recent projects coming out of our hackathon. It just happened this last weekend in London, an EZA hackathon. And we have Alistair and Kears. Here we are. And
hi, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect.
And
how are you doing today?
I'm awesome. The stage is all yours. I'm going to disappear.
Perfect. Well, we'll get right started and get right into it. So we are Disco, and we are about chat locally, earn globally, and powered by Algorand. I'm Alistair Heath, and I'm a serial startup founder, software developer, and a former CTO. And Keris here is not only my wonderful fiance, but she is also working alongside Harvard and NASA, doing all kinds of cool work in the field of data science and artificial intelligence. So we will dive straight into the topic on that note. So let me pull up the next kind of slide. Brilliant. So I don't know if anyone had an issue on Monday with AWS, right? We know Canva was down. There were a whole load of sites and apps that basically crashed because they were reliant on the AWS data center, the East US. And we know that more broadly, a whole load of services, your favorite websites, your favorite apps, all depend on big data centers, particularly from Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, but also companies like OpenAI and Anthropic as well. And AI is really dependent on these data centers because they require really powerful GPUs, the kinds of things that aren't starting or aren't necessarily sat on people's desktops. So the problem is that we're reliant on these data centers for AI inference, things like ChatGPT. And one of the big problems that arises out of that is on the ecological aspect. So we end up building more and more data centers. We end up wasting more and more compute. And another problem that arises from this too is the fact that if you have particularly sensitive data, let's say you work in a hospital, you can't send that data to ChatGPT. You can't engage with large language models with that data because you'd be sending it to OpenAI or Anthropic. In some cases, people do that anyway, and then that results in a lot of problems around trust and trust around data. So that's the problem we were looking at, is how do you do AI inference without data centers? So in terms of the solution and vision, what we were able to do on Saturday and Sunday, and this is crazy because we built this in 18 hours and we had a working demo by the end of the hackathon, was we were able to install large language models on local hardware. So there's a great application called Olama that lets you put smaller large language models or small language models on your laptop. You can also put slightly larger ones on gaming PCs. And we are starting to see dedicated consumer hardware come out as well. There's the DGX Spark by NVIDIA, which was released last week. You can put it on your desk and you can run a large language model for it for vibe coding. And the idea was, what if we could create a decentralized network of these computers and these large language models, and then basically be able to send requests to that network and say, hey, does anyone have ChatGPT or GPT OSS 20 billion parameters, say, can someone do the inference for this chatbot for me and send me back the response? And we were able to build that and verify those quotes with Algorand, and then of course make a payment for that inference as well. And what this means is that with Algorand and with this network, you can install a large language model on your laptop or on your gaming PC. You can join our network and then start earning for providing that compute, providing that chatbot service. So we have that inference layer, we have that trust layer, and we have that payment layer. And those last two, Algorand plays a particularly pivotal role. If you want to demo here, let's dive straight into it. I hope you can hear the audio, but this is how it works in practice. If you want to provide compute, or if you just want to use the service for vibe coding and AI inference. If you want to try Disco for yourself, you can go to disco.ton.dev and just start a chat with any model. The request is sent to your machine on the network, which then tries to load the model. But oh no, my machine doesn't have that model, so it's going to reach out across the network to this one. Every machine on the network that has this model is now bidding to answer this conversation for me. Then your Algorand wallet pays the node that answered the call. It's not just easy to chat, it's easy to earn as well. Head over to our GitHub, download the node, and within minutes, you'll be plugged into the network and lending compute and getting paid in Algorand. Nice. Awesome. So we have a local network going at the moment. By the end of this week, we are going to get a global network going, and we've made some good progress on that today. We've also got our first computer ready to go live to do LLM inference. It actually turned up in the post this morning. It's a NVIDIA Jetson Orin. So we're going to put some large language models on this that people can use. And we've decided to name it Jetson Orin, J-Orin, Jorin. The computer has been called Jorin in your honor, mate. So that will be going on the network very, very soon. And we'll use Algorand, of course, in the ways that we just discussed to manage that. Finally, in terms of future roadmap, we have that local network. We'll get it global by the end of this week. We're going to be creating a token by the end of this week too, called DSCO, the Disco token. And basically that is what you will use for paying for inference, getting access to the chatbot, integrating it into your apps. It's also what you'll get paid in when you provide compute to the network. And we've also bought a .algo NFT as well. So you'll be able to link, buy a sub chunk of that NFT and link it to your node to increase the trustworthiness of it. And we're really excited to bring more and more compute to that network and start sharing it at other hackathons as well, so people can get really cheap vibe coding. And so it's really cool. And thank you so much, Joran, for your support at the weekend.
Oh, it was my pleasure. And had I known you were going to name a computer after me, I might have worked a little harder. No,
there we go.
That was it was very awesome seeing how dedicated you guys were hacking away there, and I was very impressed with you with what you built over the weekend, and just the vision that you guys are casting for this project. I particularly like the building in the open aspect and the ethos of decentralization that you're bringing to this project, where you really want to democratize and spread these nodes out across the world, and bring access to these nodes to people that may not be able to use the latest models due to subscription issues. Tell me a bit more about like what you see happening in as an open source project, and how people can kind of contribute to this.
Yeah, so as an open source project, we rely on having more and more nodes and more compute, right? So we have a GitHub that came out of the hackathon. You can go and download that, and we're going to make sure that in the next few days that it's really easy to plug that into a global network from your local machine. So we're going to be spinning up servers, particularly in Europe and the US, but we can put them elsewhere as well. And anyone, of course, can create these gateway servers wherever they need to in the world, and just join in and plug into this global network. It's really, really powerful as well, because there's an algorithm behind the scenes that when you send an ask for a piece of chatbot inference, or you send it a prompt, it will select the right server for you. And of course, let's say you're in a remote part of the world, you could spin up your own piece of compute there, or you could club together with some friends and put your machine on it, and then that means that part of the world starts to get faster inference than maybe it is when it's trying to reach out to a data center half a world away. So it's really nice to be able to have that, or really critical, actually, not just nice, critical to have that ability to spin up a LLM inference server anywhere in the world and connect it into this compute. So from an open source perspective, we want to give our software away for free. We want as many people to download it. We're going to get to the point, hopefully in the next month, where it works even on MacBooks. We'll get it to the point where you can lend LLM from really, really standard consumer hardware, which is really, really great. And then conversely, we know that we need to make money as a business to be able to survive and to be able to propagate, right? Purpose is great, but purpose without profit, I used to work for a company that said that all the time. Purpose without profit doesn't work, and vice versa. Profit without purpose isn't great. But from a business perspective, we're creating this giant global network because we want to be able to offer more and more compute. But of course, you could download this code and create your own private network. So let's say you're a hospital and you want to start being able to send medical records to an LLM or to a chatbot. Well, you can't really do that to ChatGPT, and you can't really do that to our global public network either, because you don't want that data getting out. But you could buy a few compute pieces, or buy a few computers, put them in the basement of your put it in the basement of your hospital, and then spin up a network from there. And similarly, that will be appealing to developers as well. We're also speaking to a couple of F1 teams across Milton Keynes, which is where we live. We're talking to a whole load of folks that might have confidential data. Now, whether that transpires, we don't know. But hey, 4 days into the hackathon journey, we need to stop for some breath sometime.
Amazing. Kara's taking advantage of her F1 her F1 connections to build some
Nothing
business
official
relationships.
Well, the whole Harvard education system went down with the AWS issue. So,
wow.
hopefully they might be keen for some decentralized computing as well.
Who knows? Let's reach out. Let's ask the question.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I love what you guys are doing. It sounds very exciting. The building in the open and the two different kind of directions that you could take this project seems well thought out. And it seems also that it's a great moment in time with hardware like the DGX Sparks coming out, and people really being able to take advantage of this on a consumer level, and then potentially sharing that compute with the world. Great work.
Oh, sorry, just one massive ask from us, from everyone on the call. If you have a gaming PC, or even if you just have a normal laptop, please go to disco.com. That's disco with three eyes. Join our mailing list, because on launch day this week, we're going to need as much cool compute on this network as possible. Because if people use it and the models aren't there, the compute isn't there, it's going to fall flat. So this is an opportunity to get cheap chatbot inference if that's a part of your project, but also to start earning on Algorand, and let's make Algorand the blockchain of decentralized AI. Let's do it.
Sounds like a very interesting emerging market. So excited to see how this expands. Thank you so much, Alistair and Karis, for coming. Yeah, we're going to shift over to the next project, and we'll talk soon, guys.
Cheers. Bye.
All right. Take care. Okay. Next up, we have ClearSpend. So we have Maggie and Ellis joining us from
Hey, guys.
ClearSpend.
Can you hear and see us all right?
I can hear you, and I'm going to disappear now, and you can take it away, folks.
Amazing. Can you see the screen as well?
Yep, looking good.
Perfect. Hi, guys. I'm Ellis, and my partner is Maggie. We're both undergrads at Wharton/University of Pennsylvania, and we run Penn Blockchain as well. We're honored to be here and competed in the EZA Harvard Hackathon a few weeks back and are now live with our app, ClearSpend. As you can see, it's on my phone, works perfectly. And we're basically like iterating and testing with a bunch of users right now. But as a high-level overview, I'll be going over the app, which you can see a simulator on the left, as Maggie and I go through our slides. But as a high level, ClearSpend is a teen super app or teen spending super app where we have verified purchases, we build lifelong money habits, and most importantly, from the ground up, we're building financial literacy.
So we surveyed teens and parents, and the results were astounding. 73% of teens don't know how to budget, but at the same time, 70% of parents don't track their teen spending. This was very alarming to us because teens control around the globe $1.4 trillion in spending each year, but they can't build any verifiable history until the age 18. Additionally, teen savings goals, financial education, credit building, and learning to invest all had an average importance of over 4 out of 5 in the parent survey, but paths to build credit or invest are currently very limited. In the status quo, parents have no real controls, and traditional teen cards teach nothing.
Yeah, and so as a counter to these problems that we observed, we built ClearSpend. So the way ClearSpend works, as you can see on the left, is that we teens to build their own credit. So this is a proprietary score that we're building for purchasers. And the way it works is that parents give an allowance, say maybe $50 a week, and there are verified purchases. So here we go for Amazon or some real estate, or if they want to do educational materials, these are verified purchases. I can go and say, hey, I have $500 in my account. Let's go spend $2 of those dollars. This is actually submitting a live transaction on the Algorand testnet, which we can show in 1 second. But we want to make this a very frictionless experience. We're actually trying to abstract the Web3 elements away. But just for show, here's the actual transaction that we've posted to testnet. But if we go back, we can do something and say like drugs, which obviously we don't want our kids being involved in. So what we're using the blockchain for is verification that these sellers are like trustworthy and that it's what these teens should be spending their money on. So if we continue on, we also have the opportunity for teens to get involved in investing. So as mentioned previously on that homepage, one of the teens, in this case me, went to invest in real estate, but they can also go into the Algorand ecosystem and use the existing apps to learn about finance, to learn about DeFi, to learn about crypto as a whole, which is obviously bolstering the community, but also increasing financial literacy, as mentioned, really important in the parent survey. And then additionally, we have like an educational toolkit. We're really focused on having a super app where people can spend, save, but also learn. And then this is for the parent side. These are things that we allow versus not allow. And then we just use semantic analysis by plugging the transaction into like an LLM, and we determine, hey, is this an acceptable purchase or not? Kind of moving on, we critically chose to build on Algorand for a couple of reasons. We're building a super app here. So what we want to have is fast transactions, low speed, and an ability to quickly do like pre-purchase verification. So as you saw here with the spending feature, we're doing a pre-purchase verification through atomic transfers. We're also using digital allowance tokens and credit NFTs. Again, we kind of have this unique credit score that we're actually going and talking to credit companies before anyone actually has any credit to see if we can sell this to them. So we can basically say, hey, here's assurance that this person will become a good spender, or they can take a line of credit in the future, which is like a completely novel concept that we've created. Additionally, we have block storage, again, for like if we want to have a bunch of transactions with complex data, and then low fees. We may have 10,000 transactions a year for a specific team.
So what we're working on right now, as Ellis mentioned earlier in the start, we're currently beta testing our app with select users on our basic features. And at the start of next year, we'll be focusing on industry partnerships and using our ClearSpend custom credit score to partner with credit card companies and US banks. By mid-2026, we're hoping to make ClearSpend the new global finance app. We're not just building app. We're replacing how teens access finance globally, credit score, NFTs, school integrations, cross-chain reputation. We have all of that. The Venmo for teens, but with education built in. And we'd love for you to be part of the future of finance. You can join the waitlist for ClearSpend by scanning this QR code or entering in the URL and filling out a short form. And we also wanted to thank Joran and Algorand for allowing us to share our new app.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. That was great. Yeah, let's jump right in and talk about your call to action for people to sign up to be on the waiting list for this app. Like, who is your target demographic? Are you looking for parents with kids, or just kind of anybody?
Yeah, so I think the main target is parents with kids, because it's a way for parents to track their kids' spending. And like, especially teens, I think that's when you like start to get a lot more allowance, a lot more autonomy over what you're spending. So we're just trying to make that process, the handoff, I guess, from like kids to actually having your own money when you're full adult, a lot easier.
That's awesome. And I'm curious about this like credit score piece, because like as a youth person, you don't really have opportunity to build this up. So talk to me a bit more about how you're planning on facilitating this, and how it might like transition to a quote unquote actual credit score, or relate to the FICO kind of system that we have.
Sure. So I'll give you some design considerations that we had. We want to prepare teens for what the rest of their life is going to look like. We've actually chosen to use something that's on the same score guidelines as a traditional credit score and based on similar things, or like guidelines for how good or bad your credit score is. So, for our case, this is more reliant on like, hey, are you making good purchase decisions, and are you getting like rejected for purchases that are potentially bad? But of course, ones that are good, we're going to improve your score. So right now, and to answer like your secondary question, we're looking to start talking to credit card companies and see if we can actually like sell this product or sell this data to them, assuming that the parents and children are willing to kind of like give this data away, because it could be a very good indication for future like spending and like loan provisions.
Yeah, and that's the next kind of piece that I wanted to touch in on, because in the DeFi space, we have a whole lot of over collateralized loans, and I haven't really seen it done yet, if at all, under collateralized loans, and for that we need like a kind of credit system. How can I trust you're going to pay something back? So yeah, is that on the kind of roadmap to potentially have this in the future?
The candid truth is that yes, under collateralized loans are unproven, and they've actually seen a lot of like bad incidents come about. We actually don't want, we want to make very good and safe habits for teens. So we'd rather have them like learn about it, for example, and like what's gone wrong in the past. But I don't think under collateralized loans are on the product wish list right now. It's also not something that parents have indicated that they want their kids getting exposed to. this would come after like a series of building your credit or like your score based on how well you save, how well you buy. And then we can introduce these concepts maybe as like when you're 16 to 18 years old, you could have this feature where you can start taking out small loans and actually really start building your own credit.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And another thing that I really like about your project is that it incorporates, I get typically Web 2, like purchases on outside of the blockchain space, and spending habits there. But how do you integrate potential spending habits on chain? Like, is that a part of your system as well? Like maybe using DeFi and that sort of thing?
Yeah, so we actually have this natively. We interact with the protocols in Algorand's ecosystem. And so users, if they choose to, assuming parental allowance, can actually go and interact with DeFi protocols, and can also, if they're curious, they can go and learn about it and understand like, hey, what actually are these projects, and how can I put my savings that I'm working on, making good habits and behavior change, how can it go to like becoming proactive and active money? So that's what we've enabled here. But like the spend, yes, is really just for like spending over the counter. But like, yes, you can go and invest in DeFi protocols.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that you're bringing the education piece alongside the investment piece, and I think there's great opportunities to partner with some of these projects in the space to offer education that then allows parents to see that their kid is learning before spending. It seems like a very holistic, positive feedback loop there.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Maggie and Ellis, for coming and sharing your project, ClearSpend, with us. And if folks didn't get a chance to scan that QR code, we will definitely include the link on where to sign up for the waitlist for your project as well at the end.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Take care, guys. All right, we are moving right along, and we're coming up to the final project today in our hackathon showcase. It is another one of the projects that came out of the most recent hackathon we had this past weekend in London as an EZA hackathon. And I'm bringing onto this stage Nimi to talk about his project, Cryptic Gate. And let me bring that on stage, and I'm going to fade away, and you take it away, Nimi. Oh, we can't hear you, Nimi.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
My name is Nimi. I'm an AWS certified software engineer. Today, I'll be talking to you about Cryptic Gate. Let's look at the problem Cryptic Gate is trying to solve. We all know that cryptocurrency gives users full control over their assets, as well as full responsibility for these assets. But a good deal of the time, this full control eventually becomes a problem, because these individuals, they pass away without sharing their secret keys or passphrases with others. This leads to full loss of assets. And the problem I'm talking to you about today is not just theoretical. I did not create it out of thin air. In fact, research suggests that over $4 billion have been lost just in the past 6 years alone due to debt incidents. Right on my screen is an example of Matthew Mellon, who lost about $1 billion. There's an example of Gerald Cotton, who lost over $135 million. So these problems are real. They lost all this money due to death incident. Basically, they could not send it to their loved ones or to their heirs after death. But we're not just stopping at solving problems due to death incidents or solving asset loss due to death incidents. We're also taking it one step further and trying to solve asset loss even due to carelessness, asset loss due to accidents, because we realize that sometimes accidents happen. A person could have, for example, his hardware wallet at home along with his software wallet, and the house might have a fire incident. The person could have a plane crash incident. And in all of these situations, the hardware responsible for storing the secret keys and passphrases get completely destroyed, and they have no access to them again. This is where Cryptic Gates comes in. CrypticGate is the first non-custodial asset protection as a service protocol in the blockchain space. One of our core features that we are introducing is called an inheritance gate. And what you can see right here on my screen are the core priorities of the inheritance gate. One of them is guaranteed asset recovery, because you can imagine a situation where you are building your digital legacy over years, only for it to vanish because no one has access to your wallet. And the truth is, this is the reality for most cryptocurrency holders today. But CrypticGate is solving that problem, because with our guaranteed asset recovery system, what we are basically allowing you to do is have a situation in which even if your wealth disappears, you would actually have a way to actually recover them using our pre-signed key mechanism. And that is not all. We're also providing security without friction, because in the blockchain space today, security almost always comes at the high cost of convenience. And this is perhaps a big barrier to mass adoption. But with CrypticGate is different, because right from your wallet app, you will always be able to send, stake, trade, just as you have always done. There are no complex interfaces, no smart contracts to lock your assets away. Everything just continues to happen natively, securely, and effortlessly. The way we are building the system, you could say our protection is baked seamlessly into it. You would not even realize it was there until you actually needed it. CrypticGate, or this inheritance gate I'm talking about, is also unhackable by architecture. In crypto, every layer of complexity adds a new door that hackers can exploit. And that's why we are building CrypticGate differently. In CrypticGate, we don't store secret keys, we don't store assets. All we store are signed transactions. And signed transactions are mathematically immutable by default. What this means for the hacker is there's nothing to power with. There's no attack surface to exploit, basically. In fact, you could say that security is not an afterthought with CrypticGate. Security is the foundational thought of CrypticGate. At the same time, we are also able to protect your investments across protocols using the inheritance gate I'm talking about. Most crypto solutions out there today, they stop at the wallet, but CrypticGate is smart. We realize that your assets are no longer in one place anymore. They are invested, they are staked, and they are borrowed across multiple protocols. Right now, I'm very, very sure there are people listening to me who are perhaps providing liquidity in probably Fox Finance, providing liquidity in TinyMan, providing liquidity in PaxFi, depositing collaterals in protocols like the Complex Stablecoin Protocol. CrypticGate can protect all these assets, because we are not using smart contracts to achieve this. Rather, we are using Algorand's native rekeying feature, which ensures that all these investments are accessible using the new authorized signer. Currently, there is almost no solution that's actually using the unique technologies that we are using. Even on the Algorand blockchain, we are the first that are actually trying to solve this problem. But that's not all. We also have another core feature. It's called the payment gate. And basically, what the payment gate allows you to do is to specify how much of your assets you are willing to give to certain heirs or certain of your loved ones. Well, you can think of it this way. For example, you might want to give your first child 10% of your total assets, or give your second child 20% of your total assets. And this is what payment gate helps you to do. It's basically funds distribution. When you combine a payment gate with an inheritance gate, it becomes really, really powerful, because with that, you can specify how much you want certain people to receive, and then specify that someone else should take custody of the remaining assets after these people have received the amount you've specified that you want them to receive. What does the market potential for us look like? The truth is that this is actually a $1 trillion industry. It's a no-brainer, basically, because when you look at the fact that the crypto population is gradually aging, at a particular point in time, everybody realizes that they are going to die, and basically they need to actually take care of who would actually take custody of the assets when all this happens. Even with a small fee, even if we're able to capture a very, very small percent of the global crypto marketplace, we believe that in a very, very small amount of time, we'll be valued in billions of US dollars. We are using a unique technology, and our target audience is not one person, is not 2 person, is the general crypto population. everybody needs this. Yeah, we believe that if the blockchain ecosystem were the physical world, what we are building at cryptic gates will be the railways. They will be the roads. These are not luxuries. They are basic necessities that the blockchain ecosystem needs today. And that brings me to what are the things we'll be working on in the foreseeable future. One of them is inactivity detection, because basically we want a situation where you can say, okay, if I've been active within a certain amount of time, I don't want you to send my signed transaction to the blockchain so that my heirs or my loved ones do not receive my assets while I'm alive, right? So instead of you having to always come to the user interface and click on a delete button and then automatically schedule another signed transaction, we want to make sure that our systems are smart enough to detect, oh, you've been making transactions on the blockchain, and yes, you are still alive. So the inactivity detection is basically an heartbeat mechanism. We also have something else called client-side encryption with server-side keys and a secret. And this is basically a new kind of wallet system in which it's fully non-custodial, but just with a secret, probably a password, you'll be able to access it on our systems. And this wallet system could serve as a backup for you while you are still alive, in case due to carelessness or due to an accident, you lose your secret keys. Basically, you will just come to our systems and all your assets will be in this new wallet system. At the same time, too, we want to work on something we call decentralized execution nodes. One of our core philosophies is decentralization. We realize that currently our systems are responsible for sending these signed transactions to the blockchain. But one is a situation whereby anybody will just be able to plug in his computer into our systems and help us send these signed transactions to the blockchain, decentralizing the execution of the signed transactions, basically. The recent situation with AWS is enough for us to learn from on why only one server should not be responsible for doing this. It is so important. You can reach out to me on Twitter. Our Twitter username is @cryptic_gate. You can also check out Cryptic Gate on testnet using this link, testnet.crypticgate.io. And you can check out the payment gate on mainnet using app.crypticgate.io. In summary, I want to say that I believe that Cryptic Gate is a technical, elegant solution because it does not attempt to create a new cryptographic primitive. Instead, it taps into the native powerful features of the Algorand blockchain and combines that with cloud-based scheduling. Thank you.
Amazing work, Nimi. Thank you so much for that. I think this is, very needed, like you said, by every single person in the Web3 space. I personally have a soft spot for it because one of the examples you gave of Quadriga CX, that was the first Canadian exchange that I used here, and sadly, I fell victim to him disappearing. And
sorry about that, man.
yeah, you haven't been initiated into the blockchain Web3 space until you lose some amount of money.
Definitely.
It's all learning, but I'm glad that your project is bringing to the forefront an opportunity for people to add a layer of security. And it brings something that we're very used to in traditional space, the concept of a will, and what do you do with your digital assets. It's very difficult to distribute things in a non-custodial, non-centralized way. So I love that. You're bringing this to the forefront, and more so, you're using core fundamentals of the Algorand blockchain, where there is no smart contracts involved in the inheritance gate, and thus it really lowers the security risk for people.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so great. Tell me a bit about your history in building. I think you've been building in Algorand for a while now, right?
Yeah, definitely. So in 2020, I built the Swift Algorand SDK, and it actually exposed me to a lot of cryptographic functions, because when you are building an SDK, they use a lot of those things, right? They use public and private key cryptography. And thanks to the Algorand Foundation, they gave me a development award when I built that in 2020, because there was no way then for Swift developers, people building on iOS, people building on Mac OS to actually use the Algorand blockchain, they had to use the APIs, they had to use the endpoints, basically all these HTTP endpoints. And I built an SDK around it, and that was really, 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 really good. Also, I worked later and I built from the ground up the only decentralized stablecoin protocol on the Algorand blockchain. Then it used to be known as XBAT. It's a stablecoin protocol. They are the only, even so far, they are the only one so far that are decentralized and have a stablecoin offering on the Algorand blockchain. They were acquired by a company known as Compex Labs now. So that's a company you might be a little much more familiar with. And since then, I moved to the United Kingdom, and now you're seeing me in the hackathon, and I'm coming along with a new project, and I'm hoping to build something really, really powerful. There's something people would actually use.
That's amazing, and I love that story that you've been building in this space for so long, and moving on to the next project, and just bringing seeing a need and filling in that gap. I wonder if as we're heading out and closing off this session, I wonder if you have any advice to the people watching that are thinking about building a project, maybe in the blockchain space in general, but maybe in Algorand in specific. What advice would you give them to get them started?
Yeah, well, I think while building, my general advice would be always to think outside the box, right? There's a saying, it says, to the man with an hammer, every problem is a nail. I feel you don't be the man with an hammer, right? Always think there are so many ways to solve a problem, but look for the most efficient way to solve that problem. And that's my advice to anyone trying to build here. Thank you.
Love it. Yeah, that's a great saying. And when applied to this situation, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nimi. I really appreciate you
Jorin.
coming and sharing this project with us in such short notice. And yeah, we're going to start to close things out. We'll talk to you later, Nimi.
Yeah. Bye, Jorin.
All right, folks. That was our very first Algorand Hackathon Showcase. We had rapid fire, project after project. Many of them just building their core idea in as little as 36 hours. And so I hope this serves as some inspiration for you. If you have an idea, that you can get it done even in a short period of time. I think the saying is, we underestimate what we can do in a long period of time, but we overestimate what we can do in a short period of time. But so get started. And if you need any help, if you want to build something, reach out to myself or the entire DevRel team at the Algorand Foundation. We're here to help you. You can join our Discord, and we'll get you all set up using AlgoKit. We have workshops that are designed to get you up to speed and get building. And like I said earlier, we have a whole suite of hackathons coming up in the new year that you can bring your ideas and take part in, and maybe be like one of these projects here that maybe wins a prize and starts a new business that will flourish in the Algorand ecosystem. And with that, we're going to sign off today. But if you are interested in reaching out to any of these projects, coming alongside them and building with them, or just learning more and following their project and becoming an early user, we'll make sure to include all of the contact information in the description, so you can reach out to them. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care.